Okay, so yo, what's up guys, my name's BearTheBoff, or Bear, whatever you want to call me, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you how you can take down Master the Invincible at OP8 level with the Gunzerker. Now, to get to Master to start off with, you're going to have to come to this place in Haters Folly, and this is also a quest in a side quest in the Captain Scarlet DLC, so if you haven't done that quest yet, or you haven't got it, you need to go and pick it up from the bounty board in Oasis. I don't know if you have to kill Hyperius first, then you can kill Guy, or you kill Guy then Hyperius, but you have to kill one of them first to get the other one. But if you watch my last video on Hyperius, you shouldn't have a problem with him either. But yeah, to get to here, you're just going to want to teleport to Haters Folly and follow this path I'm about to show you here. Now you want to be careful on the way because there is quite a few enemies, including a couple of super badass pirates who can fuck you up quite quick, I'm not going to lie. So watch out for them and just make your way over to here. You're also going to want to make sure you have 8 iridium as well, because it costs 8 iridium to get inside the boss fight. So if you don't have 8 iridium, you're going to come all the way and not actually be able to get in, which is a bit of a pain. And you also want to be careful when you're coming in because there's a lot of enemies around this area. So while you're opening the gate and getting in, you can go down. I'm not going to lie, it has happened to me before. It has. Now also a little side note is there are some ammo machines and stuff up there. So if you need to get some ammo by the time you get here, you can go and pick some of that up just so you're ready for the fight, because you are going to need as much you are going to need a lot of ammo for this fight basically. Well, you're not going to need a lot of ammo per se, but you're going to want to make sure you're stocked up and not run out, because once you start the fight this close you can't get out until you basically kill him or he kills you. So yeah, before we get into the fight, I'll quickly go over my gear and the setup as usual. As usual, Unkempt Herald, Grog Nozzle, I'm not going to go over it, just use that, okay, it's the best. You're going to want to be using an Infinity. Now, the reason you're going to want to use an Infinity is because the way this boss works is you can damage him by using guns, but you do absolutely no damage. If you did that the whole day, the whole fight, you would literally be here all day because he doesn't take any damage at all, really. So the way you do it is he summons these worms, and what you do is you kill the worms and you drag him over to them, and it basically causes him to absorb this acid pool that the worms drop when you kill them. Now, you can absorb them as well, so you want to be careful, but he can also absorb them, and that's how you're meant to kill him. You're meant to kill these worms, get him to absorb the acid pools, and constantly do that again and again and again throughout the fight, and you basically burn his health down by doing that. Now, the problem is obviously you need to drag him into the pools and not die in the process. So what I find the best way to do is Gunzerker with the Unkempt Herald and Grog to kill the worm, which isn't a problem, they die easily, and use the Grog Nozzle and the Infinity to make sure that I don't die while pulling him in. And so that's why we've got the Infinity. I use the Lady Fist just because, again, like all fights I've said, it can be really clutch. Like, the amount of times I've killed a worm in the last couple of seconds I'm about to die is insane. So that's just there as, like, basically a saving grace for me. As for the shield, we're going to be using the Evolution because, like I say, you can't do damage to him and you kill the worms pretty well anyway. So there's no point using the Rough Rider because you don't need Inconceivable. There's no point using the Sham, you can't absorb shit. Bees, again, no point. You may as well just use this. You get extra health, you get elemental resistance, which is good because obviously the worms, they can shoot acid balls at you, so that can help with that. And it's not got too bad of a recharge delay. It's a bit of extra shield on top of it, you know what I mean? As for the grenade, we're going to be using the Quasar. Now, you're not going to actually want to use these that often if you can. These are kind of like a last resort. If he's being an asshole and just not wanting to go into these pools, because sometimes he can, sometimes you'll be dragging him in and he'll just sit there right outside the pool and he'll just be like, nah, I ain't absorbing this. So these can save you in them times. If he's ever being a bitch, you can, throw these and it pulls him towards it. Now, the reason I say you don't want to use these too often is because if you keep using them and then you run out, and then later in the fight you need them, it can really cause issues. So you want to use these as little as possible and only in situations when you need to. As for the class mod, we're going to be using Legendary Berserker. Now again, we don't need Money Shot, we don't need a lot of damage, so there's no point using Chaotic Evil Monk. Now also the good thing about this is you get 20% increased movement speed while Gunzerking, which is really helpful in this fight. I'll explain in a sec why. And you also get 5 points extra into Insight, which every time you take damage you get movement speed. And if you take damage in this fight, you're gonna want to be able to move. It's like if you get hit, you're on the run, like straight away. That's how this fight works. So yeah, that's why that class mod is so useful. The other skills are kind of helpful, but to be honest, it's not really that, important. Plus the cooldown rate is really good because you are going to want to be in Gunzerker most of the time in this fight. If you're not in Gunzerker, you're going to be running away, basically. As for the relic, we're going to be using Sheriff's Badge. Again, we're using all pistols, so there's no point not using it. We don't really need the damage or the fire rate, but I mean, I've only got Blood of Terramorphous, but you wouldn't really need anything else anyway. You don't need any elemental relics, you don't need fight for your... Well, you've got to fight for your lifetime on this, but there's nothing in particular in the relics that can help you out, so Sheriff's Badge is just the way. So yeah guys, that's the gun setup, and then this is my skill tree, if you guys want to know about that. It's the same as the build video I did on Gunzerker, so if you want to know in depth as to why I use these skills and what's good about this build, then you can go and watch that video. I'll link it in the description so you can go and check it out. So yeah, let's get into the kill, and like I say, the main objective of this is to get him in the pools and get them, but a big thing I need to say about this fight is this fight, the way you fight it and the way the fight can go is very based on RNG. And I say this because this rocket launcher he's holding can change parts every time you come in here. So sometimes it'll be fast fire rate with fast bullet speed, which is probably the worst. It can be fast fire rate with low bullet speed, or it can be low fire rate with fast bullet speed, or it can be low fire rate with low bullet speed, which that's the best one you want to get. If you can get lucky and get low fire rate and low bullet speed, that's the best, because he just shoots these continuously. And the problem is I'll show you in a sec, but when you dragging him into the pool, he's basically that side, the pool's there, and you're just shooting him by pulling him in. If he's got fast fire rate, he shoots them and he throws this tomahawk on his back. And the problem is sometimes he'll shoot you, throw a tomahawk, and it'll down you instantly, and a lot of the time there's nothing you can do about it. But the less bullet speed he's got and the less fire rate he's got, the more likely you are to avoid that. So a lot of the time it's RNG. If you get unlucky and you get fast fire rate and fast bullet speed, you just got to try your best in the fight. It's hard, but you just got to try your best. So, but yeah, with all the stuff information out of the way, I just wanted to clear up everything about the fight so you guys understand before we get into it. Because honestly, you've got to concentrate in this fight. So I don't want to be stumbling over my words while fighting him. But okay, let's get this on the go. Okay, so he's hit me, and then that's knocked my insight on. And like, look how much faster I move. Like, I just need to avoid his stuff. Okay, so there's the worm. Okay, so kill the worm. Like I say, it doesn't take much damage as long as I fucking hit the worm, that is. Okay, and then now we just drag him in. Now you can, a lot of the time what you want to do is, as you're dragging him in, you can stand in this yourself a bit, because it basically has like a, timer as such, and see he's not coming into it now. It's got like a, see like that, then he absorbed it, so now he's going to start taking damage. But I'm not going to kill this worm yet because my Gunzerker's about to run out. Because that's the thing, you don't want to be having to drag him in once your Gunzerker's out, because if your Gunzerker's out you can't hold the infinity and that, and he can kind of fuck you up. But yeah, you can stand in those, because it's like I don't know how to explain it, but basically it's like when no one's standing it slowly grows outwards, and that's why you need him to absorb it, or you to absorb it. And the more someone's in it, it gets smaller and smaller until they absorb it. And what you want to do is you want to drag him in and keep him there so he absorbs it. So sometimes if you want, if he's being a bitch, you can stand in it a little bit just to keep it high. But it is quite risky, to be fair. A lot of the time you'll end up absorbing it. So, but that's what you want to do. But also when he's in it, as long as you've got Gunzerker active and you're shooting him with the infinity, you can, if you want, run in there and let him hit you. And it basically, because he hits you, he has like an animation where he stops, like he stops to do the animation. It causes him to get stuck there, and he's more likely to get it stuck there. More likely to absorb the acid even. He's a pain in the ass though. I look at this now, he's just running around, so I've got to come over to this side. There you go. It's very hit and miss with this, like you just got to kind of go with it. Like unexpected shit can happen in the fight, and you've just got to do it. You can't help it. It's just one of them things. But you do need to keep reserve of your Gunzerking, the cooldown, how much time you got left, because like I say, if you're ever stuck in a position where you don't have Gunzerk and you need him to absorb an acid pool, you're pretty much forced to use your Quasars, because you can't pull him in otherwise, because you'll die. Now as for his rocket launcher, I haven't got too unlucky. It's a fast bullet speed, but it's quite slow fire rate, which is pretty decent. The only problem with waiting to kill the worm is sometimes two will spawn at the same time. But as long as you're a bit quick with it, it's not that hard. Just keep pulling him in. Keep doing it. Keep him there. He's not going to absorb that, is he? Fuck. I'll show you the Quasar as well, just to give you an example of that. So that's pulled him in now, and I can keep him there. And he's absorbed it. I'm really sorry guys if this sounds like a lot of information at once. I'm trying to explain it as I'm fighting him, but this fight is a big clusterfuck. But as you can see, his shield just depleted once and it's gone up again. So what happens is once you deplete your shield once, it recharges fully. I have no idea why, it just does. And then once his shield goes down again, that's when it'll start working on his health. And where the fuck that worm go? There it is. Yeah, so it'll start working on his health then. And this is basically how you win the fight. It's just this again and again and again. Run in. I've got enough time there to kill this worm and get him in, so as long as the worm doesn't fuck off. A good tactic I've seen people use as well before, and it's accidentally happened to me before, but it's sort of been like a blessing in disguise, is because of insight, how when you take damage you get constant movement speed. If you absorb one of them pulls, it doesn't really do enough damage to you to worry you. But what it does is every time it hits you, which it hits you constantly, because basically what's happening to him now happens to you. You're constantly getting damaged and burned down. You get insight 100% of the time, so you've got like a really big increased movement speed, and it really helps for the fight because he can't hit you as much then, especially if he's got the fast firing rate and fast bullet speed one. It's a lot harder for him to hit you then. Also, you can get healing off him. Like I say, you don't do a lot of damage, but you do. I mean, these guys have got millions and millions and millions of health, whereas you've only got. I've still got 2 million, which is a lot, but if you need to heal. Oh, okay. See, I wasn't watching my Gunzerker then, and I've nearly killed that sandworm. If I'd have killed that then without Gunzerker, that would have been quite awkward. So we're working on him, getting him down. Let him hit me. Like I said, that keeps him there. Normally when he hits you away as well, he will start shooting, so he stays there. And that's just the way I've found the best way to get him to absorb them, because it keeps him there and you don't have to worry about you don't have to worry about constantly dragging him in. If he has got the fast fire rate though and the fast bullet speed, you need to get out of there quick. The second he absorbs that, you need to be on your run quick, because if he hits you, he will hit you hard. I was kind of hoping it would be fast bullet speed and fast fire rate so I could show you guys, but you can never tell, it's just all RNG. Okay, let's keep him in. So he throws that tomahawk. If he ever throws that tomahawk and shoots you at the same time, it can be a pain. But this is why you want to keep the infinity out, because you can... If you go into drunk and grog nozzle form, it's a bit annoying, but as long as you've got the grog out and the infinity, if you keep shooting him like this, you heal quicker than his bullets can kill you. So that's why you use the infinity. It's that one. So yeah guys, I hope I've cleared everything up with this fight. I am, like, the reason I'm a bit, I need to Gunzerker there to get my health. I could have unkempt grogged, but I don't want to risk it. But yeah, like, sorry if this is a bit all over the place, but I'm doing this live as I'm talking as well, trying to explain it. I thought that'd be the best way, but this guy, like the other bosses, when you understand him, he's not that hard. Like, this is just rinse and repeat again and again and again, to be fair. As long as you know what you're doing, it's like the other bosses, you just do the same strategy each time. But that's the annoying thing about this guy, because he's RNG, it's random. And half the time you'll be doing fine, you'll be playing sailing, everything's cool, everything's all good, and out of nowhere he's just like, yeah, I'm gonna kill you now. Basically. So yeah. Okay. Oh, my infinity wasn't hitting them. See how he's just walked straight out of that? Sometimes it's just random. See, I've absorbed that now, which is, can you see my health being, you know, like drained? It's draining, but it's going back up because Gunzerker's health regen. But I guess this point I can show you the insight. As you can see, my insight skill at the bottom, the, you know, boot with the wings, that's constantly going up, constantly being like hit. So I'm fast as fuck now. I am actually Sonic. So I was going to say, a tactic as well you want to use is, if you can see, I'll show you the skill quickly. It's, where's the skill? Where's the skill? Where's the skill? Okay, there it is. Okay, I couldn't find it then, but there you go. Shooting an enemy decreases the Gunzerker cooldown, effect can only occur once every 3 seconds. So that's one of the skills I've got in this build. So, ow. What you're going to do is kind of not pause your game in the middle because it throws you off. But as you're waiting for your Gunzerker to cool down, just constantly keep shooting Guy or the worm, whoever's up. Because by doing that you can just keep your cooldown on the go. And it just means that, oh for fuck's sake, come into the orb you bitch. There you go. It just means that like you get to your next Gunzerker quicker, and also it means that like if the worm pops up you're not waiting forever to get him to come. I'm going to throw a Quasar here. Now what that orb is basically once you hit him to a certain amount of health, he goes into this mode where, I don't know why, he just drops this shield, and this actually heals you. As you can see, my health's not going down anymore. So I don't know why this is part of the fight. Maybe they just thought Guy's a bitch and, you know, you're going to need some team healing. But that basically heals you. And at this point he starts to slowly get weaker and weaker and move slower and slower. So once his health hits a bit lower, you'll see that he starts sort of like, he'll start just walking around really like fucked up. Because he's weak. But at this point in the fight, like, this isn't one of them fights where like you think you've won now. Like at this point, you're still very much vulnerable to die. You need to be on like guard 100%. But yeah, just keep shooting him. Keep your keep it going with the to make sure your skills up as quick as it can be. And that's what you need to watch out for because he can fuck you up. His tomahawk's a bitch. Like it doesn't matter how fast you're moving. His tomahawk will hit you a lot of the time because. I don't know what it is, it's got like tracking on it, it's crazy. And there you go. Now at this point, to be honest, I don't think I'd really need to kill any more worms. I should be able to burn him out. But you never want to try it. If there's more damage output onto you, you just want to get rid of it as quick as possible. Ow. Oh, no, 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 no. See, he's Tomahawk. I was moving. I'm moving with this speed and he still hits you. There you go, he's dead. And with that is Guy dead. We got the Patriot, which is probably the shittest sniper in the game, but you know, it's a slag one. That's pretty cool. I haven't seen a slag one before, I don't think. But yeah, guys, that's Guy. I hope that was informative as possible. I feel like that was very clusterfucky, but I tried to explain everything on the go as I could because I thought explaining it beforehand, you'd just be like, what the hell's going on? I thought if I explain it on the... Did I just get a legendary off? I just got a fucking legendary off Guy. Oh my god! I know that sounds like, oh, he's a raid boss, he meant to drop legendaries, but I've never, ever, ever got a legendary off Guy. Oh my god, that's something for the bucket list. Yo, live commentary drop, let's go. Oh my god, I've never got a legendary off Guy. I was literally about to say it in a sec, Guy is one of the worst sources of loot, because he doesn't drop shit. He's the stingiest little fuck, and he takes forever to kill. Oh, I'm glad we've got that then. That's one for the bucket list, that is. That is one for the bucket list. But yeah, guys, what I was saying is, I thought that by doing it on the go, you guys could see what was happening as it was happening, as I was talking about it. So I do hope that this was informative. I hope that you guys know how to kill Guy now from this, and I hope this helps you guys on killing Guy. To be honest, like I said, just Guy's not a boss I kill often. It's not one that I think you guys would probably want to farm often. But now that I know how to kill Guy, and I've known to kill him for a while, the fight isn't actually that bad. It's quite enjoyable to do, just because of all them times that Guy's been an asshole and you've just been wanting to kill him, and now you can just prance around him and just have fun. Because when you start doing it more and more, it really does help. And honestly, this was the turning point for me, the Berserker class mod, because of that movement speed. It really helps. So yeah, guys, I'm not going to waffle on anymore. I hope this was informative for you guys. I hope it's helped you learn how to kill Guy. And I hope you can use this in the future when going to kill this piece of shit, because he's an arsehole. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and yeah, I'll catch you next one.